It's great to be chatting this morning to David Howden, who's the founder and president of Cornbury International Horse Trials. David, thank you very much for coming and having a chat this morning.
It's a pleasure, Panda.
You're busy.
Ask a week, so exciting and busy week, definitely.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. So, David, how did your passion for eventing evolve? What sort of sowed the seed?
Yeah, well, although I never actually rode as a youngster, well, I did actually, but motorbikes, not horses. My sister's always been massively into horses, and I've got three daughters, and they all took up riding, really encouraged by Miranda. And then when we moved to Cornbury 5 years ago now, a great friend of mine, Luis Munoz Rojas, who was a rider and a breeder of event horses. He bred Rocket Man, which
Yes.
quite nice. But he said, "God, David, you've moved to Cornbury. You've got to get the eventing back going again." So I began to think about it, and I thought, well, why not? If you have privilege enough to be in this an amazing place, and passionate about horses and eventing anyway, why not bring back eventing? And so we brought back, as you know, in a rather challenging year, 2019, Cornbury Park Horse Trials. And of course, also there were a number of other connections. Friend of mine who also works in my business, runs one of my businesses, Richard Clapham, very heavily involved in the eventing world. He said, "Look, David, I can help you. I used to run events at Madeley anyway, so I can help you get it going." So there were a number of people around me who were supportive, and of course I met David Evans, who who'd worked actually here, not designing but working on the original course. So there was a number of things, Panna, just saying, yeah, we've got to do this.
Yeah, well, I remember Cornbury very well. That was one of my sort of first, I remember doing, I think I did my first advanced there when I was about 17 or 18. And it was always one of my favorite events. And I was so upset when it, well, as was everybody, when it finished. So we're all thrilled it's back.
Yeah, well, brilliant. And I think, it's quite funny, Pandy, you saying that, because the number of people now that come up to me and talk about that and say how much they loved, being at Cornbury and, remember the old days. So it clearly has quite a special place in quite a lot of people's hearts.
Oh, it has. It was a firm favourite with lots and lots of riders. So it's brilliant it's back. So David, apart from the top horses and riders that will be in action in September, what can spectators expect to enjoy at this year's horse trials?
Yeah, well, it's a really good point, that, Penny, because when I originally started, I really wanted to have this focus around the riders and the horses and eventing and really create something special. And we've touched upon, what it means to it and how much the lovely riders love to come. And of course, this year we've got the Young Horse Championships coming as well. So really top eventing. But also, I wanted to begin to get people who weren't necessarily interested in eventing, understand what an amazing sport this is as a spectator sport, and come and enjoy it. I felt there was a bit of either events weren't bringing anyone, or they turned into a bit of a shopping arcade. You know what I mean? I want to do something in the middle where you're celebrating the sport. It's all about the sport, but yet it's an amazing day out for people to come and enjoy the sport. So first and foremost, we want fantastic food. So the food's going to be local food. We live in this amazing catchment area around Cornbury. Obviously, I'm a farmer myself, and all the produce is going to be genuinely local produce where people can eat different food, locally, sustainably sourced. Even the beer that we're going to be selling is going to be local. We're having the Witchwood Inn, appropriate name, of course, we're surrounded by the Witchwood Forest here. So, there's going to be a big focus on a proper sort of, mini food festival.
Perfect. What a great idea to do that. You're going to have a bit of Hawkstone there.
There's going to be some Hawkstone there as well, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't realise I sort of thought I'd gone off cider about 20 years ago, and then I had some Hawkstone about a year ago, and I rather like it again.
No, absolutely. But well, all
Delicious.
the people behind Hawkstone, obviously people I know
Yeah.
respect well. And of course, Johnny Hornby is a keen adventurer himself, and actually is very generously yet again sponsoring the owners' tent. So I'm sure there'll be lots of Hawkstones being available for those owners who want to hopefully quench their thirst on a sunny day with some nice cider.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It sounds like the weekend will be fun for sort of teenagers as well as the sort of younger lot. I know you're catering for the sort of, you know, under 12s or that sort of thing, but it sounds like a fun place for,
Yeah.
you know, our older teens.
Well, absolutely, Paddy. So, you know, obviously I've got 3 daughters. One is no longer a teenager because she's 24, but 2 teenagers. One of them, Jemima Howden, as you probably know, is a fairly serious eventer, looking hopefully to get in the, is currently, you know, working on the under 121 youth squad.
Fantastic.
When I asked her what she thought Cornbury needed, she said, "Oh, what it needed, David, is some DJs in the evening and some partying." You know, so
Brilliant. I'll tell
typical.
my children will definitely be there.
So once the horses are over and there's no one to spook, we're gonna turn the music up a bit. We're gonna have a bit of fun. As I said, we're gonna have some amazing catering and bars there, and we're just gonna have a bit of an atmosphere again to make it fun to be there and for the youngsters have a good time. Obviously, as you know, we're pretty good at festivals here at Cornbury House.
Yeah,
we have the Wilderness Festival here, and so we're going to building a little bit of wilderness into Cornbury House Horse Trials, Panda.
Well, absolutely brilliant, brilliant. It's definitely what eventing needs. I think it's perfect. So this year's Cornbury, you're now holding the prestigious British Eventing Young Horse Championships. This is so exciting, and it will surely raise the profile of Cornbury as well.
Yeah, it will. But just before we do that, Bannock, if I could just say, you touched upon it, but we are also doing a lot for the younger ones. We've got a whole sort of arts and craft thing going around, you know, so massive, great big area where they can, you know, learn about the forest, do work on things, learn about animals. So there is coming as well for the younger crowd, which we want to be. So if you want to come with your family, it's going to be a fun family day out.
Yeah.
But
brilliant.
that, you know, I think going back to the, I'm passionate about really the development of eventing, and to me it is one of the greatest sports ever. It's the only sport where men and women compete on equal terms in the Olympics. That's really unique. It's yet, you know, it's one of the few sports where it's about horses and riders, not just about humans, you know. And I think, you know, to do that, you've got to, you know, obviously develop it from the point of spectators wanting it, but also being part of young horses coming up and owners having a sort of, and that's what, as you know, one of the things we're doing in the Howden way is creating the young horse leagues. Because as an owner of eventers, I know what it's like. Well, okay, my horse did this, but where did he or she come compared to other 5-year-olds or 7-year-olds or whatever it might be? So I think really celebrating, you know, owners who are investing in young horses, the riders who are investing their time, energy, and sometimes danger in actually riding them, I think was really critical. And I wanted to really give the Young Horse Championships the very, very best place to come. So very exciting this year that we're having them at Cornbury for the first time.
Very, very exciting. And David, what's your vision for the future of Cornbury Horse Trials? 5-star maybe in the future?
Good question. But now look, as I said, when we started in 2019, COVID year, people said to me, "David, you're nuts to be trying to get a horse trials going, you know, when actually no one can rock up." And you know, we persevered and we've had our challenges. You know, we had the very, very, you know, sad thing that last year, you know, literally came around the time of her late Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's death. And, you know, the year before that, we had, you know, restricted people to be able to be there. So we've had a lot of challenges, and yet we've always had this focus on let's really build it properly over time and patiently. Let's get the ground right. Let's have an amazing course. There's quite a lot of changes David Evans put into the course this year. We've done a massive expansion, Panda. We've got already one big show jumping arena we created. This year we created a whole second one. So you've got two levels going down now. We've expanded the dressage area in front of the house. So lots of investment going into making it an amazing course. This year, we've said our focus is let's get those young horse championships in there. So whilst I've had conversations with Richard and David and the team, and obviously eventually it'll be me and FEI about where we want to go. And, you know, we are ambitious people. I think for the moment, we agree this year, let's focus on this and then get that right, do that properly, and then step by step. You know, we're not trying to, do it too quickly. We want to do it right.
Enough. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can't wait to see it this year, the new arena. So do you think eventing, so sort of raising the profile of the sport in general, do you think eventing organisers and British eventing itself needs to make sort of significant changes in order to secure better funding and sponsorship for the future of these big events?
I think there's a huge opportunity for us, Panda, in eventing. You know, if you, I suppose I'm biased, but I've introduced a lot of people to eventing who haven't watched it before, and I can't think any of them who don't love it. You know, you know, maybe the dressage takes a bit more work to get people into. But, you know, coming, watching the show jumping, watching the cross country, a beautiful day out, particularly if you're fortunate enough to be in an amazing estate like Cornbury, it's a fantastic sport. If you think of other sports that have managed to really raise their profile enormously to get, you know, the right level of investment in them, I'm not going to name them because but I would argue many of them are much not that interesting to watch, really. And spectators go much more for the overall spectacle than just the sport itself.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think that's the opportunity we've got in British eventing. How do we, you know, make sure that this becomes an event that we protect, because let's be honest, there's a safe, and we'll probably talk about that when we talk about the Howden wearbed. You know, we need to make sure it's an event that stays in the Olympics, in my view, you know, and it's an event that people support. As you know, I built an insurance broker, and we spent a lot of our time insuring sports against liabilities. And of course, you know, we have clients in some sports where that's becoming more and more challenging, and eventing is a dangerous sport. You know, we've got to make it as safe as we possibly can. We've got to promote it in the right way. We've got to bring the sponsors in that recognise the value with being associated with British eventing, and how this is, you know, we are the Olympic champions, and, you know, there's lots of people, I believe, that sponsors would love to connect with who are passionate about eventing, and they just don't know it as yet, and so we've got to find a way of them understanding, okay, actually, rather than, you know, say, well, no, that sport, I think eventing is a sport I should be backing. And that's a huge, and the good news is, Panda, we're such a low starting point, in my view. There's huge opportunity for us to really attract that, and that's partly what I'm trying to do with Cornbury, is to get people to understand just how amazing eventing can be and get interesting. So I've got quite a few sponsors coming in for this year who've never been behind eventing before, but who are loving it. So big opportunity for us, and we should embrace it.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about the Howden Way and explain to members what this initiative is?
Yeah, absolutely, Ben. Well, you know, I as touched upon earlier, you know, I've got two girls that still event, one very seriously, Jemima, but, you know, I didn't come on my sister. I didn't come from particularly, you know, I'm not an eventer myself. I didn't start riding until I was 50. And I recognize that, you know, getting into eventing isn't always that easy. If you're born into the right family, maybe it is. If your mother or father are an eventer or something, you know, and you can find your route. But finding a path isn't always as easy as someone who wants to go play football and there's a local club they can join, or rugby or cricket or whatever it might be. So that's the first point. Secondly, you know, it's quite expensive. It can be expensive for people getting the training, getting it right. And I want to broaden. If we're going to make eventing attractive to a greater population, we've got to have a more diverse group of people able to come into eventing and enjoy it. So I wanted to open the access out for it. Thirdly, it needs to be safe sport. It is inherently a sport that can be dangerous. We all know that, as a dad who follows, and you've rented yourself, it's not. So training is critical. Training is critical to get that right. You can't just send out a young rider on a young horse without the proper training in place. And then lastly, as I say, really, the development of young riders and the development of young horses is critical to the future of the sport. So really the Howden Way has 4 angles that deal with all those different elements. How do we get people into eventing and understanding who don't know about it? How do we provide free training for them so they get trained to go up? How do we educate people generally about what good events is about, both horse management, whatever, and how do we promote young riders and also young horses? And I'm investing in British eventing because I love it and I want it to be successful. And I think those are the key elements that are really going to drive the future of eventing.
Yes, no, I totally agree. Well, it's a fantastic thing you're doing for all the young riders and young horses. So going back to Cornbury Horse Trials itself, everyone's so looking forward to it. What message would you like to give all my members?
Okay, well, I think, please come and experience it. If you haven't been to eventing before, I promise you're going to love it. You're going to love the sport. We've got all the top riders, you've already said, Pand, all the Olympic champions are going to be there. Lots of brilliant riders. You're going to see some of the best possible sport, get up right close to it. That's going to be amazing. Secondly, Cornbury, it's stunning. It's beautiful. We built the course deliberately up on the hill so you can see lots of the eventing from one place. Stunning setting to come. Thirdly, if you love good food, good wine, good cider, good beer, good experiences, come and enjoy that day out. Come and bring your children. There's going to be fun things for them to do, get involved, much more fun than sitting at home behind a screen. So give them an inside out. And if you're a young teenager, come for an evening and a bit of dancing with my daughter. It's a bit of everything, everyone. There's cool sponsors this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, what's not to like? I think everyone needs to get themselves there for certain. Thank you so much, David.
Pleasure, Panda. Really love talking. I look forward to seeing you. Thank you before at Cornbury.
Absolutely, really look forward to it.